So the normal, should I say machine learning or like, let's say for classification, let's say for image classification, the first thing you need to do is that you have your data, and you just prepare it. Let's say you want to classify. Let me just use the example I'm going to, because there's going to be a demo after this session. So we're going to be like classifying dogs and cats. So let's say you have those, you get your images, which is your data, you prepare them. Let's say for instance, put them into different folders. Let's say you label one as dogs and you have them as cats. Then you now build your model. Like this one, I have seen code, like you are still going to go to the no code part. So you now have to like develop your model, and you have to build. And so the next step is that you build your model, and then you train it against the images that you've prepared. You understand? And then the next thing is that you now need to predict. You need to test. Okay, fine. Is my model able to classify this correctly? And then once everything is all good, then you can now deploy your model anywhere. You understand? So that's like the usual flow of the whole classification, object detection, stuff. Okay, so what is custom vision? Yeah, it's more like a web service. I say drag and drop. You just need to just like put your images, upon your images, train, evaluate, and that's it. You can actually set up a working model in just few minutes. So that's like the beauty about it. Like it can help you speed up process. Like if you want to build anything, you can just spend like 5 minutes. Maybe like, let's say if you want to do something too complex that requires lots of images, then probably you want to like spend time to train it. But you don't have to do anything. You more like you like leave it to train, and then you can go out to do any other thing, then come back and watch it while you train. And until it's done, you can do any other thing you want to do. So it's as easy as that. So this is just a simple process. Custom vision service and easy to use tool for prototyping. Like I said, if you want to just dive in straight, improving and deploying a custom image classifier to a cloud service without any background in computer vision or deep learning required. You don't need to have any experience. You know what you want to do in your head. So this is more like a tool for you to be able to like build whatever you want. So let me just give like simple examples. Like let's say you want to be able to build something like let me see. Mm, all right, let's say you have a pet at home, and you want to build something like, let's say anytime your pet leaves your apartment, you get to know. And let's say you just have just a camera like somewhere outside your house, and maybe you sense, immediately it's able to detect the cat, to just tell you that your cat has left your cat has left your house. You understand? Then you can actually like maybe call someone or something. So it's more like you are going to, like you have this tool, then you can build, you can use it to like do anything like specific to your use case. You understand? There are so many models out there that has already been built by people that you can just take and use. But most time, like those models actually doing other things like detecting this, detecting that, detecting this, like maybe cats, dogs, let me say lion, everything. So you don't need that. You just need something specific to your use case. Then that means custom vision is for you. It's like a right tool for you to use. So this is just a simple process. We have cats and we have dog. You feed this to you just like save them here, you tag them, and then you build, and the thing will generate your model for you. That's just like the simple process to use custom vision. So we have the object detection, and then we have the classification. So for object detection, when you are doing object detection with custom vision, once you upload your images, it's going to look like this. And then all you just have to do is you can see tag an object, hover, and then yeah. So what you just do is that you just come here, you just like more like tag this. You just, this is an apple. You tag it as apple, tag everything as apple, and then that's just it. Just for object detection. Then for classification, I know that you don't actually need to like tag them, just single images you use, and then you just tag the whole image as maybe apple or oranges, because you want to tell the difference between the two. So building a classifier, look at the steps you need to do. You go to customvision.ai, you create your project. I'm still going to talk about that during the demo, so you see that. So you just create a project, you select a domain. Now, what is a domain? So there's domains that are like let's say you want to like build a model that will be able to detect food alone, like just food, different types of meals you get. So there's a once you pick that, when you pick a domain called food, it means that whatever you are going to have, whatever ground classifier you're going to have, will be optimized to be able to like detect different kind of foods. You understand? It's more like you have the right parameters there to be able to start your training. So yeah, so that's just what it means. Then you can add your images, then you assign tags. Maybe you want to tag them as maybe dog, cat, lion, any other one. Then you train your classifier, then you evaluate your classifier. Evaluate means that, okay, fine, I've trained my classifier. Let me test how well it performs. Let me see the parameters, the metrics of this thing. Like, do I need to add more images to make the prediction good? Or yeah, so those kind of questions. So you should be able to do that. So classifiers and projects. I've talked about this already. So I'll just go to the next slide. So domains, like I said, there are different domains that you can pick from. Let's say you want the domain for food. You're going to see all this during the demo. I'm going to show you. You pick this. You can. There's also a link I'm going to drop also at the end of this session, so that you can see the whole of the domains that we have and why you should pick them. So yes, so you should have that. So training of images. To create a high precision classifier, custom service needs several images. Like, it's more like the more data you use, the better your model is. You understand? So you just keep on adding more images to be able to like get a better classification model, so object detection model. So so it's more like this is saying that anytime you add more images, it iterates again. It's more like it retrains it again, and then you have your model. So I'm still going to show you all this. So testing your model. So after you have like maybe added, once you add your images and then you've trained it, now you need to test. You don't actually need to use the images. I will not advise you use the images you use in training it to test. You can just like select a few outside that you're not going to use to train it, and then test it to see if how well your model is able to classify or detect the object that's in that image. So you can see prediction of this. You can see Picasso 99.9%. It's trying to tell you that this is actually a Picasso. You understand? So yeah. So important terms. Sometimes accuracy cannot actually work. Some people might be asking, why is it that we don't have accuracy here? Like some in terms. Sorry, someone's mic is turned on. So you can turn it off. So in terms of precision, so like I was saying, sometimes you don't accuracy will not give you the cannot actually measure like your your model performance. Let's say you have an imbalanced data set. Accuracy is going to fool you to tell you that, let's say your accuracy is like 99%. Meanwhile, because you have let's say 10 cats, and then you have like 90 dogs to use to train, and then you just observe that your accuracy is giving you something high. So the basic thing that you should look out for is precision and then recall. So let's say for precision, let's say we have two classes now. We have like the positive class, and then we have the negative class. It's more like you're picking the positive class, and then in that positive class, you're trying to check which one is actually correct, which one did you classify as positive. Then you can now pick this, then you divide it by the total things that are here. So let's say we now have dogs in this place, and then we have cats in this place, you understand? And then you now classify everything here as dogs, you understand? So that means that you're going to pick, okay, dogs that were classified correctly are here, and then you now divide it by everything that you have here, then you get your precision. So that means if you have, let's say 10 images for cats during the training, you understand? It means that if you are doing precision, the metric is only for that cart alone in this place, then divide by total exactly. So the same thing with recall also. For recall, it's not like you are picking one side alone. Let's say, like I said, this side is dogs alone, and you're picking it, and then you're saying like your classifier was able to like detect dogs alone here, then divided by the total number of dogs that's in this place. So that should give you your recall. So these are like good metrics that you should look out for when training your model. So once you are done training, you can actually leverage the API. Let's say you want to write small code, then you can actually query it, and then you can actually get information. It can be prediction information. It can be that maybe you want to train it, and we are still going to talk about that. So you can make both get and post requests. So once you are done training, you can deploy it to IoT Edge, Docker, Azure. You can deploy it anywhere on your Windows machine. So commonly used APIs. So the APIs that are available, this is what you can use it to do. So in the training side, you can create images. You can tag images using code. This is like using code to do this. So maybe you don't want to use the custom vision environment. I just want to use code to do this. And this is actually like, I can give you scenarios for this side. Let's say you are having fresh images that are coming in, like your project is live and you're having fresh images that are coming in. And let's say you are able to say, okay, fine, I have this, then you can actually like put them in folders, and then the code can actually pick from it and say, okay, fine, anything that is there is from dogs. So okay, let me like train it again, let me retrain this thing with this, then your code can pick it up. So you don't actually need to go to the custom vision.ai this every time to like do that process. So you can do this with code, you can manage your project, you can create tags, you can get account information, you can train your project using the APIs. Then for prediction, you can predict images, you can predict both using saved images and then image URLs online. So you can do all that. So improving your classifier, like I said, for you people to improve your classifier, you need more data. So that's just, you need more. And I also advise that, let's say you want to build a classifier for, let's say you want to detect someone. Let's not say it's a classifier. Let's just say object detection. You want to like be able to build object to detect someone, like maybe when someone is outside your premises late at night and everything. You can't tell me that you want to be using images you got online. Like, what if it is dark? Like, would you be able to detect and all those kind of things? So you need to like use images that are like in that your environment. I don't know how to explain it better, but that's the best way I can put it. So best practices for using custom vision. At least use 30 images for each tags. Let's say you want to classify, like I'm using the same dogs and cats because that's what I'm going to use for the demo. Use 30 images, although I'm not going to use up to that. Okay. Use 30 images, use 30 images for dog also, and then you now train your image. Images should be the focus of the picture. You can't just like use something that is so rough that maybe the dog is now like just a very small part of it, and every other thing like flowers or everything, like, you understand, like it should be the focus of that particular image. So there are other things, diverse images and backgrounds. Like I said, train with images that are similar in quality, resolution, lightning, and then support Microsoft account and Azure Active Directory. So a few scenarios for custom vision. So let's say you want to classify images that are submitted to your website. You can use custom vision for that. Just leverage the API. Let's say for let's say for insurance company now, or you are trying to like differentiate between, I'm just using this rough example, let's say between car, bus, bike, all those things. So as you're uploading it, you can be able to detect, okay, fine, this is a car. You understand, and this is this. So identify element, object counting. You can do object counting. You can do animal identification, which is what we are going to do today, and then lots more. Hazard detection. This is another interesting one. let's say you like all this in the industrial space, let's say people that deals with let's say something dangerous like gas, and let's say assuming let's say a cylinder falls, like it's not in the right position, and there are cameras there. The cameras can be able to detect that, oh, this has happened, and then someone can actually go there and actually take care of it. So there are many use cases which you can use computer vision. So I'm going to dive right straight to the demo. Okay. Sorry. Uh, right. So this is the first space that you see when you come to customvision.ai. You need to have like a Microsoft account. You need to have an Azure subscription to be able to use this. Before that's not the use case. You can use it without but when you want to deploy, you might actually need to create that resource. But now you need to have one before you create a project. So you just go to customvision.ai. The link is going to be at the end of the slide, so you don't need to worry about that. So you just create a new project, and then let's say we call this pet classification. We want to be able to description dogs and cats, and then I've already created a resource already. I have an active subscription here, but if you want to create your own, you can just click on create new, and then you can create resource groups, the kind, the pricing tier, so you can do all that. And then you can now select project type. Do you want to do classification or do you want to do object detection? So in our use case, if you're trying to classify dog and cat, between dog and cat, so we just use classification. And then there's this classification type here. We have multi-label. Multi-label means that let's say you have an image that you probably have let's say in that image you have both dogs and cats in it, multiple tags by image. That means that that particular just that image we need to tag it as both dog and cat. Then for multi-class, then we have like let's say single tag per image. So yeah, and this is the domains I talk about. There are different kinds and what. So I'm going to drop the link also, so you can be able to get a view of. Okay, let me just show you guys. All right. So I'm going to come here. Yes, so you can see this. You can see everything here. So you can just go through general, full landmarks. So you can actually even click here to get to know about it. Like I talked about food, landmarks, retail, and when during the slide presentation. So I'm just going to go with this. Create a project. I'm going with single tag by image. All right, so once you've created your project and you click on it, this is the first thing you see. So you just need to start, the first thing you need to do is what? Add images. So I have created a data set for this. You can actually, for your use case, you can search online or you can take images with your phone or something, then make sure they are clear images, save them, and then just import them. So I'm going to add images now. So let's start with dogs. So you can see we have two here, cats and dogs here. So I'm going to start with dogs first. So I've separated them. I have the train set. This is what I want to use to train. I just want to look at the images, and then this is the test set here. So you can see these are different here. So I'm going to go back to the train set. So I'm going to go back to the train set and then pick everything here. So the beauty about this is that you don't actually need to like maybe tag them one after the other, as I've marked everything. So the best thing is this: first you need to do is just arrange it neatly in a folder so that you can be very, very fast with this. So you don't have to keep on picking this, picking that. You just dive right straight to it. So I'm going to label this as dog. I'm going to upload 13 images. I know I said during the slide presentation that you need to use at least 30 images. So, but just for this demo use case, I just said I think 13 is fine for us to be able to do this demo. Done. So we have this. We've tagged it as dog, so you can see it. And then, all right. So we can add images again. Go. Then let's go to the cat. So you can see train, same thing I did, train. Then we have pair set also. All right, great. So I'm going to Premiere, pick everything here, open, and tag everything else. Now take note of the kind of images I'm using. I know this is bad. This one that you can see here is actually bad, but you can see others are very clear. You can see the resolution and everything are spot on. So I'm going to upload it. So we have 12 images as cards. So what do we need to do next now? So once you have this, the next thing you need to do is to train. So we just have to click this, and then you can pick two. This advanced training has to do with time. Let's say you want like a longer iteration. That means this one can actually take time. It can take like, let me say, an hour or so. You understand? But we don't have that time now, so we're just going to go with quick training. So I'm going to click on this and we wait. So I can actually take questions now while we wait for this. I don't know how long this is going to take, but it shouldn't take that much time. So I think I can take like one question for now before this completes.
Thank you very much, Clement. I just want to ask a question.
All
So,
right, good.
is it that there's basically no programming involved in this, no writing of code or something, or
Yes, there is
embedded
no
in the
programming in building. Yes, sorry. Okay. There's no there's no need for you to learn how to code to build your model. But let's say when you want to use it in your application, you might need to write code just to use the API, just to like maybe predict on the images that are coming in. That is it. So you don't actually need to like write the code to like train your model and clean the data set, load the data set. No, your model is there. You just have to just use API. You just have to use API to be able to like work with it, and that's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that.
So, any question from any other person?
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can. We can.
All right, great. Okay. All right, sorry about that. So we are waiting. So another thing we're going to try out also, I think we still have more time. I'm still going to try out the object detection using the same pictures, and you can actually see how object detection works. Also, wait, I think this should like complete in few minutes. So another thing is that okay, I talked about using clear images and images that are like, let's say if it's your environment, you just take images around that place. If you want to do anything, if you want to do like, let's say, classification or object detection, you take images around that place. Although yes, you can take images online, but it will actually be nice to actually take images around that area wherever you want to do your detection in, and then just add it to the one you already collected. That can actually help you also improve your whatever you want to detect around that particular area. So there are so many things you can do with this. You can actually, like, let's say you want to detect in banks now, you want to detect, let's say you want to build an object detection to be able to detect, let's say, sharp objects like, let's say, gun or something. Like when there's a robbery, you don't actually need to wait on, some people are like actually scared that they cannot actually maybe call the police during a robbery or something. So you can actually have computer vision do that for you. It could actually, like, you can train a model to be able to detect those kind of things, and once it detects something like that within the banking premises, then it can actually send that message or maybe place that call for you. So there are various use cases at which you can use computer vision. It's vast. You can use it anywhere. So this is just like something for you. Okay, great, we are done. This is just like something for you that you can actually deploy quickly and then just dive right in. So you can see, yes, this is, I use clear images. I use everything is spot on. So you can see everything just 100, 100, 100. So let's test now. So we can just test right here to see how our model performs. So I'm just going to browse through my local files. I'm going to go through so I'm just going to pick one here. Let me just pick this and I'll click open. So let me remove this. So we can see that it is 99.3% sure that this is a cat and this is a dog. So you can see that we have done just one iteration so far. When we do it again, the iterate is increased too. So I can pick another one. Let's try to pick something that has, okay, let's pick this, open. So you can see that this is 99.9% sure that it is a cat. So let's try with the dogs data set now. Okay, cars, downloads, dogs. Okay, test. So I'm just going to pick this, open. As you can see, 99.2% sure it's a dog and this is a cat. So when you use the API, you probably get in the prediction section, you probably get dogs 99.2%, and you can get cats 0.7%. And let's say in your code, you can actually check the threshold that if dogs, let's say you don't want to use, let's say there can be a situation whereby your model will probably classify, let's say your model is bad, can actually classify this as, let me say, 53%, and this one is like, let's say, 47%. So in that use case, you don't want to use any of them because you feel like it is not strong enough for you to be sure that even the machine is never actually sure that this is a cat or a dog. You understand? So you can actually just ignore that. So it's more like the higher they are, like you could say that, okay, fine. Let's say you want to set your own threshold and say if this if it's a dog and this thing detects a dog and it's 80% sure, then I can actually like use this particular image and maybe save it somewhere as, okay, this is dog. So there are various ways you can actually do this. So quick tests, then you can actually like, so like the next thing is after you are done training your images, you can actually think the next thing for you to do is to just deploy your images. And once you have deployed, you can, when you want to deploy your image, you can actually pick. It can ask you, maybe you want to deploy in a particular section, and maybe say maybe it's Docker, maybe it's IoT Edge. Then to actually like create that model for you. When then you can now probably export it and use it for whatever you want to use it for. So the object detection, I don't have a data set for it, but I'm just going to show you how it will look like. So you just come here, let's just use the same, let's just use pet detection. Pet detection, dogs and cats. We use object detection, and then let's just pick this general one. So we just create a project. So we've created our project. This for the object detection. You see how different it is to the other one we use. And we're just going to pick, I'm just going to pick one image. Let's say we pick this now and we open. So let's upload this file and let's select it. Now we can actually tag it. So I remember I talked about this during the detection part in the slide. You can actually just come here. You can see the thing is even helping you to say, okay, this is a section of the image that looks like something. You don't actually need to like maybe probably try to edit this. You can just click it and you can drag it if you want to drag more sections of it, and then you can just tag it as dog. Then you just press enter. The same thing, you can do this. You can try to put this down also, tag it as dog also. Then that's just it. You've tagged them. So that is all from the object detection and classification part, and that's the end of my demo. So I'll just take questions now. So there's a link here. You can just visit azurecustomvision.ai, and then this link also to get to know more about it. So I'm taking questions now, if there are any.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clement. Yeah, really appreciate it. So, any questions from anybody? I believe we jotted down some things and we got enough knowledge about Azure Custom. So if you have any question, please time for your questions to be asked. Any questions, anybody? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think just to replace that question, maybe we could just talk about what we all learned or something. Maybe I'll start with myself. Anybody wants to share? Okay, Mr. Shea has a question.
I think she has a question.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Shea, please can you
Thank
kindly
you,
ask your
Clement.
question?
My question is looking at Microsoft Azure Custom Vision. Now, is there a connection between it with low code, no code, that's Power Platform? How do we integrate the local feature with this particular? Is it possible? That's the first question. If it's possible, is it possible to use low code environments, create the Power Apps, integrate it with this custom vision for your regular app? Low code is just a low end for people that don't really know programming, and they can easily use it to create solutions. So is it possible?
Oh, yes. So I'll say yes. Even though I'm not that familiar with the Power Platform, but I know that they use things such as Flow, and I've used Logic Apps, which is actually quite similar. So those things can actually make API calls, and so I'm definitely sure of that. And because after doing this, once you publish your model out there, all you just have to do is just use just API calls to actually do that, and that can happen using things like Flow and Flow. So you can actually use that, and I'm sure that since that is possible, you can actually integrate this with Power Platform. So I don't know if there's like maybe a section of Power Platform to actually do this directly or something, but instead a section in Power Apps that you can actually just maybe with a click you can actually add custom vision to it. But I'm sure that if there's Flow there, you can actually use this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clement. I have a question too. As regards the API that you are supposed to use for the training and the testing, do you have to download them separately, or all of them come with the software, with the Azure software? Or is it that some specific characteristics that you may need external APIs?
So just to get you clear, are you talking about how I got the images?
No. Like the APIs to train them. Yeah, like
is
there where you would need to download external APIs like from the internet also. All of them are in the Azure software.
So you can actually just make REST API calls. Like you can use any language. It's just REST. You can just use any language like Python, C# to make REST calls, and that works. You don't need to download any. You don't need to install any maybe library to be able to do that. I think once you are able to compile your C# code and this, you can make REST calls with it, or you have Python, you can make REST calls with the internal libraries that are there. Then and there are actually SDKs. I think I'm because I've used the Face API, and I know there are SDKs that you can actually use, like cognitive service SDKs. So I think that can actually work also. But with that one, you might have to download the SDKs. But for just making REST API calls, I don't think you need to. It depends on the language you want to use to use this. So you can actually, if you want to use Python, just make sure you have Python, and Python. When you install Python, it comes with the libraries you can use to make get and post requests. So you just have to look at the documentation. There's a documentation for this, how to be able to make the REST calls, to be able to do prediction, to be able to add an image, to be able to train your project, to be able to create a project. So all those things I talked about that the APIs can do, you just need to go through the documentation, and there are code snippets there that you can actually try out. But I don't think you need to install any library.
Okay, thank you very much, Clement. So, is there any other question from anybody? Okay, in the absence of anyone, we just want to say thank you once again to Mr. Clement for a very, very wonderful session. I learned a lot, and I believe we all learned a lot too. So I just want to encourage us to keep attending the meeting subsequently. We also have another meeting next week, Saturday. So I encourage you to also attend. There's a lot for us to learn. So with that, I think we can end the meeting.
All right,
Thank you very
everyone.
much.